Hey everyone, it's Dr. Grimlock is King here. I'm going to show you how to improve the articulation of your Hot Toys First Order Stormtroopers. If you're familiar with the Hot Toys line, you know that the original trilogy troopers were some of the best figures that they've produced. They're very posable, a lot of personality. The First Order are great in their own right, but unfortunately they put a fat suit underneath the armor that restricts the movement and the posability a little bit. I have two right here that I'll show you. The one on the right is the First Order Squad Leader. It's the Sideshow exclusive. I've already done the modification to this one. As you can see here, he's got pretty good range of motion. Move up quite a bit. A little bit looser, but you can actually be posed quite a bit better. I'm doing this to kind of show you how the after is. Now, for instance, over here we've got the regular First Order Trooper. If you look here, I can't really even get his arm to bend at that same angle. That the Squad Leader is almost at a complete 90-degree angle. Furthermore, I can't even get this arm across here to try to cross his chest, whereas with the fat suit removed, the Squad Leader is able to pull off a lot more dynamic posing. Additionally, the leg posability on this one, you can't even get a good solid bend on it with the fat suit there. First off, I need to give a little bit of a shout out to two people that came up with a guide that I followed. I'm just merely following their lead here. WWEJedi on the SideshowFreaks forum did a wonderful guide there that I followed, as well as the outstanding customizer Tony Mei. He also helped me quite a bit when I was doing mine, so I want to thank both of them. Okay, that being said, the first thing we've got to do is actually break down the First Order regular trooper here. I'm going to move the Squad Leader out of the way. So the first thing we need to do, and this is probably the easiest thing to do when you're disassembling this armor, is to just try to keep it in sequence. First thing we're going to do is just pop off the head. Takes a little bit of pressure, not too bad. I'm actually going to adjust the camera here because we're going to lay everything out so you can kind of see where it all goes. Next, take off the wrist pegs and the hands. And I'm just trying to keep these all in order here. Apologies for the jitteriness. So that we've got a good way to reassemble it. Next, take off the feet, the shin guards, the wrist armors, the forearm armor. Okay, this is where it's going to start to maybe need a little bit of force and a little bit of familiarity. The knee pads are actually velcroed on. You can see that there. The thigh armor, you're going to have to pull it down a little bit. Nice twisting motion. Comes right off. You might see a little bit of paint residue from the factory on there on the inside. Not a big deal. You're never going to see it. So we'll pull both of these off here. Now, the forearm armor, or the upper arm armor, same principle. Straighten out the arm, pull it down. Just kind of have to work it down a little bit. Sorry, normally they aren't this hard. There we go. The gasket layer on the suit can kind of catch there. Don't know if you can really see it all that well. but that ribbing can catch it, make it a little bit difficult to get off, so just take your time, work it down. The crotch piece here, this is actually velcroed on here too. Same with the butt flap. Let's just pop right off. The belt, you don't need to cut or worry. Just squeeze the legs together. Slowly slide it down. Easy peasy. And go off camera just for a second. There we go. Got it off now. Now this is where it can get a little tricky. To do this mod, there's really only two tools you need. One of them being an X-Acto knife and some super glue. I recommend the Loctite Ultra Gel Control. It gives you a little bit more time to bond it, and it works well with pretty much any 1/6 material you're going to be working with. Now, on this part here, to take this part, this upper chest piece has got to come off first, and then we're going to take the abdomen piece off. We're going to make one cut. It's going to be on this lower piece. But first, if you look here, you can see where these two pieces overlap. You want to gently kind of work it back and forth to try to separate the glue that's holding that together. Now on the squad leader, I actually ended up just kind of sticking the X-Acto knife in there to help pry it loose a little bit. There we go. So it's this little, you can kind of see it in there now. There's that little piece in there that is kind of causing that glue there, or causing the issue. There we go. And just working that glue off, or working it back and forth, helps break that seal. Now, these shoulder pads, they're glued on as well. Some people have taken them off. I don't recommend it, just because there's really no need to. Next thing you're going to do is just slowly try and work this up and over. It's more beneficial to take the neck peg out as well. That way you don't have that to contest with as you're trying to work this around. You see it, you actually separate this over and up above the neck there. On this one, you can actually do it either way. The seal actually broke on both of these here, which is not a big deal. Just a little dab of that glue will take care of it. But looking here on the inside, you can see it's just these black pieces in here holding it together. Those are glued, and when you get them back on there, or when you put it back together, it's not a big deal to cover it. So you can actually see where the marks are here. You just put a little bit of glue there, that'll take right care of it. Take care of it. Now, with this piece, it's a little bit trickier because you are going to be making that cut. You see right here is where the seam is. And you're going to be careful, and we're only going to cut one side on this one. Just put your X-Acto knife in there. make that cut. Okay. Sorry, I was trying to get the good angle of this. I don't do this very often, so I apologize. You're going to push it in here a little farther than you probably think you should, but it's okay. That fat suit's there. It's going to protect it. And then you're going to push it and pull it down, and you make that cut. And you slowly just work it around. With this piece, it's very important that you only do the one side. Otherwise, you're going to have a very difficult time trying to get it back together. Now, you can look in here. You can see it's the same principle. You got these black pieces that are gluing it together. And just like with the other one, when you put it back together, dab of glue, you're golden. So, see, now we've got everything disassembled. This is your body. And you can kind of see here, you do have the suit underneath there. And with the X-Acto knife, you may nick it a little bit. More experienced people than I probably aren't going to have that issue. But to take the suit off, there's a nice zipper on the back here. Just pull it down. And then the easiest way to just put the arms down by the side. And just kind of work it around. Make sure you've got that zipper all the way down to the bottom. You can kind of see here, we've got to work down around both shoulders. And now it's just slowly peeling it down, one arm at a time. You can also see the culprit for a big part of our lack of articulation is our fat suit in here. And it goes all the way down, and that is the big cause for issues on this figure. There we go. Voila, one rubber underbody done. Now, this is what you're dealing with on the figure underneath here. The reason people have the issues with posing it is that this fat suit is taking up so much extra space and constricting it. Now, if it was just by itself and not this rubber suit on there, it wouldn't be an issue, but between the thickness of the two and the gaskets on the rubber body, that causes the problems. Now when you're going to take this off, the easiest way is on the back here. There's some stitching. Just take your X-Acto knife and release that stitching, and it comes right apart. Nice thing about this mod is that should you be so inclined down the road, it's completely reversible. All you need is a needle and a thread and your handy dandy super glue. So, fat suit is now off, and you're looking at the base body here. No damage to the body. Like I said, people a little bit more skilled than I am probably won't nick the suit like I did, but regardless, it's still going to be covered up by the armor, so you're never going to see it. Now they also put some tape around the elbows and a little bit of padding there. You can remove it. I didn't on my first one. I probably will on this one, just because I was worried it was going to actually pinch and the gaskets here, but I'm playing around with it more. I'm really not that worried about it. Same thing, just take your X-Acto knife or your fingers, you can just cut away this tape that's on here and holding it together and pull it off. Now, you've got the fat suit removed, so all we really got left to do is put the figure back together. The zipper goes in the back. The zipper is the back of the body. Same principle. Put the arms in here. And just pull it up. Zip it back up. I'll say one thing to be careful of, because I ran into this modifying my strike self cap, is make sure you're being very careful with the zipper, because if it gets all the way up and flies off, you are hosed. So just something to be aware of. So now you have a much more posable figure, just even in the suit. Now it's just the reverse order. I find it's easiest to get the arms out like that. Taking our abdomen piece, got it back around here. Now, some people that have done this have said that they don't even bother gluing this piece back together. That's up to you. For me, I prefer it just because I like my things to be tight. So I'm taking my glue just right along this little edge here, just putting a dot. And then with this glue, you've got a little bit more time to work with. It takes about 15 to 30 seconds to bond, so you're not in as much of a hurry as you would be with some of the other glues available. Sorry, it's been a few months since I did this to my squad leader. Kind of refreshing on the fly here. So, now we've got it sealed, and we're off to the next part. Got our chest piece. Same principle here. Got it back on here. So now, pull it back together. One of the downsides of the glue is it does take a little bit longer, but overall, this is a pretty quick and easy mod. It doesn't take a whole lot of time, despite my glaring deficiencies as a tutorial maker and reviewer. So we got one side done. Now I'll do the other side here real quick. One thing to be careful of with that fat suit gone, make sure you aren't getting that suit pinched when you're re-gluing it up here, because you don't want to tear it that way. And all back together. Now the rest of it is just reversing the order of what we had earlier. Putting the neck peg back in, Adam's apple forward. Making sure to pull that back up over the top. Belt back on. This piece at the back here, where it's actually put together. That's how you know it's the back. Squeeze the legs together. Go back up. Put our crotch piece back on. The rear piece. It's actually going to keep that belt back up there. Slide the thigh piece back up, and this should be to the out. This little protrusion here should be to the outside. Knee pads back on. Now the legs are done. One thing to note, this will fit looser here because it doesn't have the fat suit, but with that looseness you also get more flexibility, so that is kind of the trade-off there. And you can see now, even with that elbow piece in there, he's actually able to come all the way across. Slowly work that back up there. The gaskets will cause some difficulty with that, and just take your time, go up and forward. That'll get there. I found it helps if you actually grab where the wrist is and wiggle it up from there. Kind of a circular motion there will also help work its way up those gaskets. I'm going to slide it up there as much as you can. You want to make sure you have that. You want to make sure you have that elbow bend. And put the forearm armor back on. And there we go. You now have a much more posable First Order Stormtrooper. Actually come all the way across now. He can move. You do have to kind of watch when you're trying to bend it there, but now you can actually crouch and kneel. and he can hold his gun like in the promo shots. So, and all because this little piece here is causing issues with it. So there you have it. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them as best as I can. I'll also be showing you how to make it so that the heavy gunner machine gun can be magnetically attached to the back of your first order gunner trooper. Thanks, and we'll see you later.